angry if we don't. You may be interested to know that global warming, earthquakes, hurricanes, and other natural disasters are a direct effect of the shrinking numbers of pirates since the 1800s. For your interest, I have included a graph of the approximate number of pirates versus the average global temperature over the last 200 years. As you can see, there is a statistically significant inverse relationship between pirates and global temperatures. This is the graph that Bobby included with the letter. It shows a negative correlation between the number of pirates and the Earth's average temperature. Correlations are used in science to show relationships, but they can also be used to make unrelated phenomena seem related. Here, the relationship between pirates and global warming is presented as fact, but anyone with the ability to reason can see that this is faulty. Bobby means it as a statement, saying that this is the type of reasoning employed by religion. Now, back to the letter. In conclusion, thank you for taking the time to hear our views and beliefs. I hope I was able to convey the importance of teaching this theory to your students. We will of course be able to train the teachers in this alternative theory. I am eagerly awaiting your response, and hope dearly that no legal action will need to be taken. I think we can all look forward to the time when these three theories are given equal time in our science classrooms across the country, and eventually the world. 1/3 time for intelligent design, 1/3 time for the flying spaghetti monsterism, and 1/3 time for logical conjecture based on overwhelming observable evidence. Sincerely yours, Bobby Henderson, Concerned Citizen. P.S. I have included an artistic drawing of him creating a mountain, trees, and a midget. Remember, we are all his creatures. This letter was intended to show the Kansas School Board how a theory such as intelligent design could easily sound ridiculous with the right spin on the information. After all, who would want to admit that the world may have been created by a flying spaghetti monster? However, the reasoning here is very logical. The argument for teaching creationism is that if the beliefs of creationism are impossible to prove wrong, then they must be taught as an alternative to evolution. In this light, the flying spaghetti monster must be taken seriously as well. The Church makes claims that are impossible to disprove, and therefore the Church cannot be debunked. Its claims must be taken as a possible alternative to evolution, and also to intelligent design. However, in this case, we can all clearly see that the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster is a creation of Bobby Henderson, Concerned Citizen, and therefore will not be taken seriously by the school board. However, the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster makes an interesting point about all religion here. Because we cannot prove their beliefs wrong, religious followers contend that their beliefs must be right. Of course, in the scientific world, this is faulty reasoning. It only proves that their beliefs are unfalsifiable, not correct. Henderson was trying to use the same logic applied to creationism to make a point about the belief. It is not necessarily right or wrong, but if you can't prove it either way, much like the flying spaghetti monster, how can you offer it in a secular science classroom as fact? Professor Douglas Shaw, PhD, sums up the argument nicely. He says, "One of the hardest things to do as a scientist is to put my personal beliefs aside when discussing matters of science. So as a professional, I have to say that both forms of intelligent design and intelligent design from the flying spaghetti monster, are equally valid, and if intelligent design is taught in schools, equal time should be given to the flying spaghetti monster theory and the non-flying spaghetti monster theory. But speaking personally now, it seems to me that the flying spaghetti monster theory is much more plausible than the non-flying spaghetti monster theory, because it is the only one of the two that takes into account all the discrepancies between intelligent design and measurable objective reality." The Church does this by explaining that the flying spaghetti monster is responsible for all discrepancies because he wants to test our faith. This, of course, does not make it fact. The Flying Spaghetti Monster also has a gospel, a book written by Bobby Henderson that explains the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster and its cause. One thing it does that the Bible does not do is include a disclaimer, of which parts may hold true for any religious text. It reads, "While Pastafarianism is the only religion based on empirical evidence, it should be noted that this is a faith-based book. Attentive readers will note numerous holes and contradictions throughout the text. They will even find blatant lies and exaggerations. These have been placed here to test the reader's faith." Of course, Pastafarianism is not based on empirical evidence. This is the whole point. Neither is creationism or any other religious belief. But saying it doesn't make it so, and reading it doesn't make it true, and teaching it in classrooms doesn't make it fact. Henderson is calling for all people to think, really think, about what they believe in. Pastafarianism is based on as much faith as any religion is, with unprovable yet unfalsifiable beliefs that should be taken as seriously in the classroom as any religious belief. Followers of the Church understand that this will never happen, of course, and never really expect it to. They join because they wish to help make the statement that no proof against a belief does not make it worthy of being taught alongside empirical science. Another feature of Pastafarianism that Henderson may not have intended on is that it points out how easy religion can be to manufacture. He created a God, a gospel, and a set of beliefs, and the number of followers increases every day. A quote from philosopher Bertrand Russell sums this up nicely. He says, "If I were to suggest that between the Earth and Mars there is a china teapot revolving about the Sun in an elliptical orbit, nobody would be able to disprove my assertion, provided I were careful to add that the teapot is too small to be revealed even by our most powerful telescopes. But if I were to go on to say that, since my assertion cannot be disproved, it is an intolerable presumption on the part of human reason to doubt it, I should rightly be thought to be talking nonsense. If, however, the existence of such a teapot were affirmed in ancient books, taught as the sacred truth every Sunday, and instilled into the minds of children at school, hesitation to believe in its existence would become a mark of eccentricity and entitle the doubter to the attentions of the psychiatrist in an enlightened age, or of the inquisitor in an earlier time." Russell says that an unprovable belief, taught as fact, eventually takes hold of society. Will the flying spaghetti monster become a real religion over time? Doubtful. I believe it will remain true to its cause, trying to keep creationism in church where it belongs. I am, myself, a Pastafarian. I do not actually believe the gospel of the flying spaghetti monster. I do not believe that the world was created by a flying spaghetti monster. I do not believe that pirates are divine beings. I do not even believe that there is a flying spaghetti monster. But I do believe in the message that, as the U.S. Constitution states, church and state are to remain separate. Schools are state organizations, and therefore it is unconstitutional to have religious belief taught alongside evolutionary theory in science classrooms. I do not believe in creationism, but I do respect the right of creationists to hold their beliefs. However, when faced with the possibility of having these beliefs taught as fact in our classrooms, I feel that someone has to stand up and object. Evolution is a scientifically provable theory by all accounts, and creationism is not. Therefore, it has no place in a classroom that is meant to teach the empirical scientific method. I hope this clears up some of the misconceptions about the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Please, think about what you believe in, and please, think about what is being taught to your children. Religious beliefs have a place in our society, but their rightful place is in the church that upholds them, not in our schools, being taught as scientific fact. Thank you.